friends, it's me, Tina, the girl in the garden. Today I'm in the kitchen and guess what I'm doing? Yep, it's tomato sauce time. Usually I cook them in my slow cooker and I freeze it, and we add carrots and other onesie twosies veggies that we have, and because of that I can't water bath can that recipe. So I went through my ball canning recipe and I found just a basic tomato sauce that I can water bath can. So today, with my son helping me, we're going to get started getting these tomatoes prepped and ready to be water bath canned. To start with, we have 15 pounds of tomatoes. I got I got one tomato off of my tomato plant. So I did go to a local farmer and I got me a box of tomatoes. So we're going to cut off any bad spots. We're going to core these and then we're going to quarter them. And then I believe we're going to cook them. I don't know that I have a pot big enough, so we might have to do 2 pots at the same time. We'll see. All right, we're going to get started. We've got our tomatoes cooking down nicely. We've already splattered all over. So we got to bring them up to a boil and then simmer for 15 minutes. Sorry, I don't know why I couldn't get simmer out, but then we're going to simmer for 15 minutes. So don't worry about the spots on the stove. We'll clean that up after the fact. We did have to do 2 pots. So they're going to break down, start bubbling, and release all their wonderful, delicious juice. Yay! All right, let's keep a cooking.
You should have left that in there.
Yeah, so I turned on the camera and my son's laptop said, "This is amazing," and so I stopped, but I might put it back in there. Anyway, our tomatoes have simmered for 15 minutes. Both pots look good. We got tomato juice all over my stove. And our next step is we're going to send it through the food mill to get out the skins and the seeds. Let's see how we do. You want to show that? That's our new food mill we got just to do this recipe because I don't know how else to do it. Usually I do it in a crock pot and I just blend it all together. So we're going to try this. We are doing the food mill dance right here. It's pretty easy. You can actually set it on the bowl. I don't know if you can see the little leg that's on the bowl there. So this could be done by one person. I was thinking it was going to take 2 people because I've never used a food mill. So, okay, we're going to keep going. This is looking yummy. Look how much juice we have. I just feel, I don't know if you can see the pulp over there. I just feel like we're wasting a lot of tomato. We're actually going to freeze it and give it to our chickens, but the way I do it in the crock pot, I don't skin them or seed them. We just cook them. I forget for how long, but it seems like forever. And then I just take an immersion blender to it, and it all gets chopped up, and we've never had an issue with it. So, I don't know. I'm just curious because I'm new at this. Do I have to run this through a food mill, or can I do it with an immersion blender and not throw away all that tomato? My chickens will like it though. All right, we're going to continue. Whew, it now fits into one pot and we got to bring it to a boil, and then we have to simmer for 45 minutes or until it reduces by half. All right, this is going to take 45 minutes. Okay, we're at a full boil. Now we're going to turn it down a bit and we're going to simmer for 45 minutes, and we've got our jars heating up. All right, let's wait the whole 45 minutes. All right, here we are. Our 45 minutes is almost up, and as you can see, this is not even close to being reduced by half. So I don't know. Did I do something wrong? So it does say 45 minutes or until reduced by half. So we're going to keep going. All right, we are still doing the simmer thing. We actually turned it up. Maybe our idea of simmer is different than what Ball's Canning Book thinks it is. I don't know. In about 12 minutes, it will be an hour and 45 minutes that we've been cooking this down. It does feel thicker And we're thinking it needs to come down just a little bit more to actually come down halfway. I don't know, I might be pushing it from where it was. Because remember, it was very much at the top. As you can see, it was very much, at the top. So I'm gonna give it till it's an hour and 45 minutes, and then I'm gonna put it in jars. If I have extra, I'll put it in a bowl with a lid, and we'll use it for pasta or something tomorrow. All right, we're almost to the end. All right, as you can see, it's down almost halfway. It's now been an hour and 45 minutes. We did probably do it more of a boil than a simmer, in my opinion. But we're going to go on. The next step is to turn off the heat. Oh, that's a lot of steam, huh? And pour in our 3rd cup of lemon juice. Kyle's going to stir it all up for me. And then I think we're going to start ladling it into our jars. All right, we've got it ladled into our jars. Excuse the big tomato mess. And we've still got some left. And I have one more jar already prepared. We just got to get the lid warm. So we're going to go ahead and fill one more jar. And while we're doing that, I got my vinegar thing. I'm going to wipe the rims down to make sure I get a good seal. All right, we got 7 jars. And here, let me show you how much we have left. Not very much at all. So we'll do something with it. All right, time to water bath can. We're gonna get the jars back in there and bring it to a boil and boil it, I think, for either 10 or 15 minutes. I'm waiting for my producer to give me the right time.
What's this one pint for? 40 minutes?
No. All right, and did you hear that? It is 40 minutes. I got scared and thought I did the wrong recipe because I am not pressure canning. I am water bath canning. But nope, it says 35 to 40 minutes. So we're going to let this come to a boil. And then we're going to put the lid, actually we're going to put the lid on, let it come to a boil. We're going to let it do that for 35 to 40 minutes. Then we're going to turn it off and let it cool a bit before we take the jars out. Now, I guess those might be bubbles. Sometimes when we put our jars in there, there's little bubbles that looks like it's coming from around the lids. And our question is, does that mean we don't have them tight enough? I don't know. If you know, drop the answer in the comment box below, please. Woohoo! I'm excited. Our time is up. And we're going to see if we can get a ping, at least in one of them when we take them out. All right. Do you want this? I got tomato products everywhere. Did you hear that? Oh, you can see it's still bubbling inside. Ooh, ping. Okay. Let's give it another couple seconds and see. Ping! All right. Don't leave yet, because next we're going to use the rest of our tomatoes to make a tomato soup. All right, we're still cleaning up a little bit, but here's our ingredients for our tomato soup. Onions, feta cheese. I have 2 different sizes, I guess. peeled garlic, so I don't have to peel it all, cream cheese, and tomatoes. And there is about 2, 4, 6 pounds of tomatoes. So first, when I first got my tomatoes, I was looking for things to do, and I thought, I don't like tomatoes, but I do like almost all tomato products. But I've never liked a tomato soup. I wonder if I could find a recipe or come up with one that I liked. Excuse me. So I did start looking, and I found that some people were putting feta cheese in it. And I thought, I wonder if I would like that. So I started roasting my tomatoes and onions and garlic. And then I went back to YouTube, and there's a collaboration that I'm watching right now called Souptember. And it was the inquisitive farm wife, I believe, who was doing a tomato soup. Not only did she add feta, but she added the cream cheese. So I'm going to link her channel below. Go check it out. The great thing is what she does with her grilled cheese sandwich. I am not going to do that part. I am just going to, I guess I should finish the story. Anyway, so I thought, I think I have both. I did. I had feta cheese and cream cheese. So I just made, the first one I did was 2 pounds of tomatoes, and some of this other stuff. And of course, seasoning, salt, pepper. I think I did oregano and basil. Anyway, I liked it. I liked it a lot. So we're going to redo it because we want to put some in the freezer. So, like opening a can of soup, we can take it out of the freezer and warm it up for a quick meal with a side grilled cheese. So anyway, that's why these are all the tomatoes I have left. So we're just going to do it all in tomato soup. And as I do this, I'm going to try to make sure I measure so that when I'm done, I can actually write this below in the comments for you and actually have something to refer to for myself. So I am going to core these, cut off any bad spots, cut them in quarters. I'm going to chop up my onions. Oh, the other thing is because I had already roasted my veggies for my first soup, I put the cheeses in the pot, and I had to use my immersion blender a lot as it started, once it got melty. The inquisitive farm wife put it in when she baked her tomatoes, or roasted, whatever you want to call it. So that's what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to get started, and I'm going to go look for her, the URL for her YouTube, so you can go check it out, and I will be back. I got some chopping to do. Okay, our onions are sliced, and these are my homegrown onions. Some were kind of small. I wanted the equivalent to 3 medium to large onions, and I just grabbed my yellow onions actually. And I just sliced them. They're not real small. I'm just going to roast them along with my tomatoes. All right, and I'm using about 18 cloves of garlic. Some were tiny. I was going to stop before that, but some are small, and so I wanted a little bit extra garlic flavor. So I'm doing 18 garlic cloves. There's our tomatoes, and boy, that pan is really full. My oven is already preheated to 400. Excuse me. I don't know why I have to cough every time I start recording. Anyway, I'm going to add some olive oil to this. I'm just going to drizzle it around. And then the feta cheese and the cream cheese, and I'm going to pop it in the oven. Here we go. I ran out of regular olive oil. So I used a bit of this buttery sweet olive oil. And again, I just drizzled probably 2 to 3 tablespoons. The feta cheese was 9 ounces that I used. The cream cheese was 1.5 blocks. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Math is hard. 12 ounces. Now I'm going to stick it in a 400-degree oven. And I'm going to start watching it in about 30 minutes because I think I'm probably going to have to mix this up a little bit as we go along. I'm not quite sure I'm going to do that yet because it is so full. But we're going to try this and see if it works. I have kind of moved things around and I'm going to let this go just a little bit longer, probably about 10 minutes. This has roasted for about between 45 and 50 minutes at 400. Time to get it in our soup pot. We've got it all transferred over. Now it's time to start, get it mixed up with our immersion blender, get it simmering, start adding some spices, and doing some taste tests until we get it exactly how we want it. And that's it. That's how you immersion blend it. So we'll be getting our spices in there, and we're gonna let this simmer for a little while so all those flavors can mingle. The seasonings we're using is salt, pepper, smoked paprika, oregano, and basil. And we're letting it simmer in there until we get the flavor we want. I'm going to say we've probably already used at least a teaspoon of all of them. Probably 2 of the salt, pepper, and smoked paprika. And our soup is done. I've already tasted it a few times. Yes. I don't know. I'm sure it's something to do with that feta cheese and that cream cheese. That is just delicious. I'm so glad I watched that soup collab. There's lots of great soup recipes out there, so go watch them. And we're going to get a bowl of this, and I might put a little bit of red pepper flakes on mine or some fresh basil, and going to eat it up. All right, remember that wonderful tomato soup I made? Tonight, we're going to change it into a pasta dish with ground beef. Think I can do it? Lately, it's been all about experimenting. I've got tomatoes I need to get done. I still haven't got to, but tomorrow's the day for those. All right, let's get to cooking up tonight's dinner. I'm starting with a pound of ground beef. I probably put in a couple teaspoons of pepper, a teaspoon of salt, because I never measure, I'm sorry, probably 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, and I think I have some dehydrated onions that I'm going to throw in. And I thought we had all kinds of pasta, but it looks like all I can find is spaghetti and, what are the other ones called? Egg noodles. So we'll see what we'll end up using for our noodle. All right, let me stir. All right, most of the pink is out of our ground beef. I am going to add our leftover homemade tomato soup. Got it mixed. It doesn't look bad at all. It smells really good. So I'm just going to let it keep warming just for a little bit longer. Maybe some of the water from the noodles will help it thicken up just a little bit. And then we'll taste test. That turned out pretty good. The flavor of that tomato soup, because the tomatoes, onions, and garlic were roasted. For a quick meal when you want to just use up some leftovers, this was really good. I might top it with a little bit of Parmesan cheese, some chives, some parsley. Who knows? Sometimes I'm going to get crazy and use red pepper flakes or jalapenos. So that's tonight's dinner. Woohoo! All right, real quick before I get this all cleaned up, we canned our tomato sauce. I think that looks pretty good. I can't wait to use a jar. Then we made our soup. Here again are the spices we used. Our soup is cooling off. And then we're going to stick it in the freezer. It's kind of cold today, so I'm sure we're going to have a couple bowls before we do that. And then the last thing I did was that little pasta meal. That was made with the leftover soup that I had made the first time. And that's all gone. We've eaten it. So that's it. This is a longer video than I usually do. Sorry about that. But I'm glad you stuck around. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you have a great tomato soup recipe you think I'll like. Go watch the soup collab. I'll put it below. Don't forget the thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Drop a comment below. And I'll see you next time. This is Tina, the girl in the garden. Bye.